Today I used my empty time and I used up some of my time in the afternoon to visit a storefront blocks away in the mall. The first time I practiced some baseball pitches before I entered, and there seemed to be a few girls and some few boys doing some youth activities, setting up equipment. Asked them what they did, and they said they made up some funny answer, saying that it was some illegal stuff. But eventually, they said that they're just setting up equipment for some program that's going on. After drinking some water, I went back and I asked them if they're using the baseball infield, and they said that it is free to use. So I used it this time, and I practiced some baseballs, from fastballs to primarily the four seamers, of which I have a bit of trouble in. The weather was fairly hot, so I knew I should have wore sunscreen, and I did sweat a lot. And as for the side event that did happen, is that they did end up leaving. So I'm not sure what happened, if they called it off or something, no idea. But later on, I then walked to the mall and I explored many areas and I saw a lot of familiar faces from school. And in one large department store, I saw a girl and boy of whom I thought was fairly familiar in, and in my old class, which was seen throughout the year and as a sophomore. I also saw a large friend group in the store's furniture section, and I did hesitate to go up to them, and I did not go up to them at the end. But that did raise a question next year for my decision on what friend group that I would want to join. Noelia and Layla are gone. I don't have that cover anymore. So the group that I would choose to join, whether it's a small one or a large friend group where I'm a local member, or be a core member of a smaller group. So I have no idea. There are a lot of break off groups also at that same time. The biggest risk, like last year, is a friend group dissolving or eventually breaking off. So that's trouble for me that I have. But I know it's kind of that decision making that came to my mind when I saw them. But when I left the store, there was this one kid in a brown shirt and another one in long pants who seemed to run away after leaving the store. So I don't know if they run into a parent, if they're in trouble, or if they just got away with something or stole something from the store. I entered back in, and surprisingly, none of the employees or alarms were set off. Like no one was alarmed or anything. I then walked around for about 15 minutes more, visited and walked around many stores to the center core, and I got to a Bank Grand Cafe where there was one girl who was an adult of who I wanted to talk to. She seemed kind, but the store closed right as I entered, and the employee who told me to leave, I shook his hand, I asked when the store opens, and then I left politely. I then moved around more, but I didn't find too much to do, although I did see one of the girls of whom I know. From an older friend group of who I was with before, and she was with her mom, and I side-eyed them before I exited the mall. And this walk was pretty tiring anyway, because I did not wear sunscreen. I thought it was gonna be cloudy all day, so it was terrible. I didn't see them. Credit to you guys if you're watching. I don't even remember your username. So, but today was pretty cool. And instead of doom scrolling, I should be going out often, more often than not. But the weather is pretty hot, so it's gonna be a little difficult whether I should just decide to stay home all day or just go and do something outside. And the worst part is that I do have a homemade gym, but the problem is that that gym gets real hot during the noon, so it's kind of like a greenhouse, so to speak. But when I reached home, my sister's boyfriend asked me where I went, and they went on their way. Mini throwback, by the way, to those two random juniors of who I think are now seniors or probably just graduated. They told me to enjoy my sophomore year when I was an early sophomore. Now I'm a junior, so that's a mini throwback right there.